The man accused of slashing Springfield Mayor Domenic Sarno's car tires last week appeared before the judge this afternoon.
Western Mass News reporter Reagan Lokri has the latest. Reagan?
Chris and Abby, Stephen Castorizos was finally arraigned today after his court appearance was pushed back twice. 55-year-old Stephen Castorizos standing before a judge in Springfield District Court on Tuesday, charged with slashing the tires on Springfield Mayor Domenic Sarno's car last Wednesday afternoon while it was parked outside City Hall. Surveillance video captured Castorizos allegedly in the act. Other surveillance photos showed him walking with what appears to be a knife. Castorizos faces charges of malicious damage to a motor vehicle and also separate charges of destruction of property and unarmed burglary after Springfield police say he threw a rock through a window at Springfield City Hall and broke into the home of someone he knew. Castorizos was arrested on Friday and was originally set to appear in court yesterday, but due to an incident that happened prior to his arrest, which led to his hospitalization, his arraignment was pushed to this morning and then again to this afternoon. While at the courthouse, Castorizos was evaluated by the court psychiatrist who found him incompetent to assist his attorney in pleading his case. And it was recommended the court send Castorizos to Bridgewater State Hospital for further evaluation and then reconvene in 20 days. As for the two other offenses, Castorizos was released on bail and a dangerousness hearing has been requested. We will continue to bring you updates as we receive them. Reporting live in studio, Reagan Lokri for Western Mass News.